Clearing out the energy. Greetings, sacred souls, ancient beings. Welcome back again to another Moon Day reading. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is in peace in your world. Going to get started for this reading for this Moon Day, which is tonight when I'm recording. This is the full moon in Cancer, not Leo, Cancer. Because if you look up in the sky, constellations, you will see that we are in Leo, not Cancer. So this full moon, this is when you are taking stock of what you put into place for the previous 2 weeks. This is the culmination of that, making sure that you have course corrected for anything that may not be going well, and making sure that you are continuing what is going well. It's a good time for reflection because we're looking at Cancer. This is one of the more intuitive, reflective characteristics that we have, celestial characteristics. Is also a good time for thinking about family and considering your emotions and dealing with your emotions. And it's also a good time to consider noise. 1 second. Consider decluttering. I hope that's better. Sorry about that. Lots of busyness going on. So, with energy on the cards, and let's see what comes out for energies for this week. Things we can be focusing on, things we can be looking at, and things going on in the background. See one more. Cut. And we have inner standing. Hope you can see that. Focus that. We have resurrection in the reverse, and the background energy is creation. And elevation. And for the answer to the burning question for this week, something that may be on your mind, something you may be thinking about, or have been thinking about. This is what these are bringing forth. Let's do this, okay. We have a no. So the answer to the burning question for this week is a no. So, again, getting started. We have inner standing. So this is one of the Guardians cards. So we're looking at a balanced masculine and feminine energy. We're looking at a 7, a coming to completion. 7 is one of the numbers of completion and also perfection. This features Ma'at of Rachedet, which many of you may know as Alexandria. The actual original name is Rachedet. So this is the place of learning. This is where many of the great scholars, the great philosophers, the great speakers and wisdom bearers, this is where they went to study. This is where the majority of the books were kept and were held, was in Rachedet. There were many attempts to destroy these books, and many of these books were destroyed permanently because they were at least 3 fires that destroyed the library, and it had to be rebuilt. So many things were lost because they were burned and that wisdom, except for what may have been passed down to some people, that wisdom was permanently lost. So this week, this is a time for us to tap in, to go inside, which is like what we just mentioned about Cancer, a time for going inside, for reflecting, for connecting to our intuition. So understanding is like that knowing that we have within, that wisdom that we have within. This is a good week to tap into that. And what we have next is, this is one of the healer's cards. This is Resurrection, and it features, sorry, it's not, okay, hope you can see that. This is also balanced masculine feminine energy, and it has a 29, so this is an 11, so this is a gateway. So in order for us to rise, to come to that place of our meeting with our higher self, this is the resurrection. So this has the phoenix, which many of you know rises up from the ashes. This is the bird, being that rises up from the ashes. So as it's rising from the ashes, it is recreating itself, it is resurrecting, it is becoming renewed. It also features the lotus flower, which, you know, comes up through the mud, through all of the trials and tribulations that we go through. So something is going on that is blocking our resurrection. So we need to check. It probably has to do with the answer to the burning question for this week. Something is blocking us and keeping us from doing that. So in line with this connecting to our inner standing, we need to figure out what it is that is blocking us from resurrecting, from going to that higher place, for being able to use this 11 as the gateway to get to that place that we are going towards this week. And we also have, as the background energies, we've got creation and elevation. So creation is one of the symbols cards. Elevation is also one of the symbols cards. So we've got the circle, the black dot, and we've got the spiral. So these things are working in conjunction with this movement that we are needing to have for this week. So being able to, you know, the creation, being able to sit and focus again back to this Cancer, reflecting, understanding, looking, going within, to be able to create something is wanting to come forth, this creation. And once we are able to create that, we will move on to our next level. So this creation, what it is that green pine trees, tangerines, some things that may mean something to you. So for this creation is going to lead to our elevation, but what we have to do is go within so that we can remove this that is blocking us from resurrecting, from being reborn. We have to go within. You have to spend some time. So again, I think last week we also talked about this meditation, possibly journaling is a good thing for this week. Meditation is not always this, again, to sit and be totally silent, because that's just not a reality. The purpose, from what I gleaned, is to be able to sit and, you know, you quiet your mind to the point where you are focusing, but not just trying to be in a vacuum type state, because that's just not real. That would be another state that we would be in, which is not a living state. So meditation is focusing, getting our mind together, getting that understanding together so that we can be in a more harmonious state. So you see she's writing, so again, journaling, can't make this up. She's writing. So journaling is something that we need to focus on this week. And again, we talked about meditation. So this couple is sitting here meditating, the balanced masculine, feminine, and here you can see this couple is sitting inside of the lotus in Yab Yum, which is a meditative, contemplative position in the science of Yuj, many of you call yoga. And here, again, the masculine and feminine energies, that's important for this week, working on balancing your masculine and feminine. Masculine, I'm sorry, needs some direction this week. Which card was I looking at? Yeah. The masculine is the center. It's this card, the masculine. The masculine energy needs some focus, some attention this week. So, give your masculine some love. Allow it to give it some nurturing, some care, some love, some attention. Give it some water. And allow it to grow so it can get back into an more pristine state. I said one more. Cleansing. Again, so cleansing goes along with this being resurrecting. We need to do some cleansing. So again, we got this state where we are not taking care of ourselves as we should. So water, saying water, fruit, rebalancing the schedule, rebalancing how you're eating. I've been noticing that many of us tend to rush. We don't sit down. We don't take time to eat. It's not something that is enjoyable because many of us have to go to work, so we're spending, you got to get up, you got to get ready, you got to drive to work, they don't give you time to actually sit down and eat a proper meal, so you're rushing to eat your meal, which you're rushing to eat your meal, that means you're not chewing for the most part. If you want to get the most benefit out of the foods that you're eating, it's optimal to chew before you swallow 40 times. I know everybody's like, what are you talking about? 40, yes, 40 times. Your food should be almost a complete liquid state before you swallow it, because that is what allows the body to utilize it and digest it at a state that is most in ease. Because when you don't chew it, then your body has to spend time trying to break down this mass of food that we are ingesting. And when it has to attempt to break it down, then you keep eating, eating 3 times a day, 3 meals a day, and then you've got snacks in between, and you're eating and drinking at the same time, which is not in the best interest of your body, because the whatever you're drinking is going to neutralize the enzymes that are supposed to break down the food, so you've got incomplete digestion, and that what leads to constipation. It doesn't assimilate all the foods, it doesn't absorb all the foods that it needs to, and then you have, with the incomplete digestion, some of the things get stuck in the intestines because the intestines are not smooth. They've got nooks and crannies, and then that's how we end up with excess parts of undigested food in our intestines, and as that continues to grow, that causes us to get into weaker and weaker states of health and leads to being out of shape and gaining weight and those type of things. But that's for a different channel. You can talk about that on a different channel. But that is what we have for this week. So again, we've got to go within and reflect on what it is we need to do to get ourselves unblocked, do some journaling and some meditating and focusing on what it is we need to do so that we can move to the next level, elevation, so we can move to the next level and make sure that we are doing a proper cleanse, again, cleansing not only our body but our space, and also removing those people, places, things, ideas, concepts that are not serving us. The answer to the burning question for this week is a no. So whatever that is that you're thinking about, wondering about, pondering about, that is the answer for this week. And we will see you next time. Peace.